Okay, so in this video I will be telling you how to create a national anthem. Here is a PowerPoint which I have put together. So, how to create a national anthem, or national hymn, it's also known as that, by Esserman. Uh, Thank you for clicking on this video. Firstly, this is quite important to know. What is a national anthem? You probably know kind of what it is, but not exactly. So a national anthem is a song. It usually has lyrics, apart from Spain, that praises a particular nation or country and that is accepted as the country's song, officially, usually. All nations have national anthems. I like to listen to them a lot, and I like them, most of them, a lot. Okay, so now, just for some fun, it's always nice. You can tell your friends all about it. Um, Greece has the world's longest national anthem, which continues for around 55 minutes. Imagine having to sing that before every single sports game. That would be funny, yeah. Japan has the world's shortest national anthem, which only has 5 lines, but they are quite nice. And like I said before, the Spanish anthem has no lyrics. However, the government has suggested some lyrics, but this is quite unpopular among most of the Spanish people. Okay, next, this is what you came here for. So, uh, how do you make a national anthem? So, a national anthem should sound inspirational, the tune and lyrics. It should be glorious as well. Also, the nation's faith could be included, since that makes it more popular, especially for religious folk around in your country, and more inspirational. And you should do this, especially if the nation's faith is quite a large part of a country. For example, a country like, say, Saudi Arabia, India, Israel, or the Vatican, then it's quite important to do so. Okay, now important nice words to use are things such as fatherland, motherland, and homeland. They're quite common. I I don't think there's very little national anthems of which don't include those words. My favorite is fatherland. Then, as well as saying wake up from, arise, brothers or children, that's quite useful. I'll give an example. I'm just going to use France as an example. So here is the example. Wake up from your ashes, children of France. So that's quite powerful. Or arise from your ashes, children of France. Or brothers of France. It's quite nice. Now, something you should not do. Please do not make national anthems about war and violence, since this is a lot less celebrated nowadays, especially in Western/European countries, nearly everywhere in the world. And also, don't shame other nations, that just makes other nations angry and makes it more unpopular as well. If a national anthem rhymes, it improves a lot. Well, that's only if it were to be sung in English. You don't have to make it rhyme, because that's just it's just easier not to do so then. Then you kind of have more freedom. You just say you could just say well, it would be in the nation's language, which is not going to be English, so you can just do that. But if you want to make it in English, just make it rhyme. Okay, just a few more notes. So this is very, very, very important. Do not make national anthems too direct, such as phrases like join the military, pay your taxes, or something like your country is the best. Instead, please make it more indirect, such as saying things like serve the nation well, how gallant and brave your fatherland is. You might ask, what's so bad about making it direct? Well, the thing is, it sounds like the government is kind of quite lousy and they're telling the people what to do, and then it's just not that good. Just make it more indirect, and also it's quite nice to make it poetic and metaphorical. Okay, Next, I will be demonstrating a good national anthem and a bad national anthem. So a good national anthem would be something like this. Arise from your graves, brothers, and let there be liberty, and fight for freedom until the tyrancy. Now, this national anthem is quite nice, but I didn't uh, use everything which I have recommended so far, because while it's only 4 lines, which is not a lot, um, and when you don't always have to use everything, just use around 2/3 of the things I'm going to tell you. So what's so good about this one is it uses words such as freedom, liberty, and arise. Yes, I said arise is very powerful. Then as well as rhyming and metaphors. So for the metaphors from your grave, so not literally in a grave. What it means by that is saying that uh, perhaps a not doing so well in the country, and then they are saying, citizens arise and make the country a better place for everyone, so, or something like that. Okay, now, and then the rhyming, of course. Rhyming doesn't have to be that obvious, actually. For example, I'm saying here, liberty and tyranny. You wouldn't really, if you were to make a word rhyme with liberty, you wouldn't really actually say tyranny, but then actually, if you don't do it, it's just going to sound weird. For this is to be sung in English. Now, an example for a bad national anthem. So this would be a bad national anthem. Stay faithful to the government, big, strong, and proud. Your country is the greatest. Hurrah, hurrah, hurrah. So this is telling this the government is kind of speaking, very very direct, no rhyming, simple words, not inspirational, and it seems so uncreative and unoriginal when they just ended with hurrah hurrah hurrah. It's kind of like we're writing it and they just got bored and then they couldn't really be bothered, so they just said hurrah hurrah hurrah. And then simple words, your country is the greatest. It's just really really bad. Okay, next I will be talking about good words and bad words. And no good words and bad words, sorry. Getting confused with the previous slides. Just good words. So, depending if your nation is more politically left or right. Most of you probably know that what it means. If you don't, here's a brief explanation, very brief. Politically left means less traditional, politically right means more traditional. So, if you hear other words you can use. I will read them in order from left to right. Freedom, liberty, justice, faith, glory, victory, and finally triumph. So, um, the left words are obviously freedom and liberty. It's kind of showing you're free to do what you want, create your own things. So that's quite politically left. Then the right, victory and triumph, that would probably represent a military victory, since there were a lot more wars back in the day, meaning making it more traditional. But traditional doesn't always mean war. It usually doesn't, but in the national anthem, it sometimes would. Then, in the center, we have justice, faith, and glory. Well, that's also a bit to the right side, but also a bit to the left side. So the center, yeah, yeah, um, yeah. Especially faith is kind of in the middle. So yeah, um, I would probably, my favorites are liberty, justice, faith, and glory, or maybe not justice, maybe just liberty, faith, and glory. Yeah, I like those a lot. Okay, how it should be written. So you you might be thinking, well, you've told me all these things, how to make how to do a bunch of tips, how to which words to use. So I'll actually tell you in what perspective slash view it should be written. So here are the 3 most popular ones probably. So number 1, oh country name for you, why shall always stand. I just said country name because like I'll just use France as example again. Oh France, for you I shall always stand. So that's kind of you having a conversation with a country. It sounds funny, but lots of national anthems have that. So because you're calling the country you, also by her name, so that's quite nice. Now this is definitely my favorite and, in my opinion, the most powerful one. We will never give in to the tyrants nor the corrupt despots. So you're singing for the whole entire population of your nation, and quite dramatic with like never giving in. But that's a really good perspective. Now the third one, how beautiful your homeland is, the bubbling streams and hills. So this is kind of the government talking to the people. I don't like this one a lot because it adds a bit of directness sense, but it still works. So, like I said, my favorite's number 2, least favorite's number 3. That's just my opinion. They all work very well. Okay, next. You might be wondering, now what should I write about? So the easiest one, definitely, to write about is the natural beauty of a nation. Saying things like, I love the fields and hills of my countries. I love the um, mountains and valleys of my country. It's quite easy to write about. Okay, now this one's a little less common, but I know the Moldovan national anthem includes this. The language of a nation, kind of saying your language is so beautiful, da 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 da, or something like that. Now, definitely my favorite and kind of the most glorious and powerful one, in my opinion, the faith and the culture of a nation. This is just celebrating how lovely and beautiful the faith and culture is. It's just quite nice. Now, the nation's flag, I like this one too, and the American national anthem uses this, especially at the end with when they say, oh, no, how does it go again? Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave in the land of the free and the home of the brave. Yeah, you're singing about how beautiful the flag is, and kind of saying, for you, the flag of my country, I will always stand. But then you might think, man, that's weird. They're thinking about how much they love the flag, not the country. But if you say you love a flag, that means you love the country nearly all the time. So then, now probably my least favorite, the nation's history. Kind of thinking about the nation's history. Now this one I don't like as much, and it's probably the least common one since histories are often quite frowned upon these days, especially kind of European history with slavery and things, and um, then things like Chinese history with lots of revolutions, all the things like that. Now, this one's quite vast, the next one. Your loyalty to the nation. It's kind of all of them combined together. So, yeah, that's kind of sums it all up. So, they're all quite good. Like I said, faith and culture will probably work the best. Okay. Finally, thank you very much for watching. I deeply appreciate it. If this video gets over 10 views, I will make a video about how to make your own national flag. So thank you very much for watching. I deeply appreciate it. And goodbye.